Good day, everybody. This is Ying Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought, number 1646. I'm hoping to inspire you to have a great day with morsels of a thought of wisdom because knowing the right thing to do is wisdom, and then doing it is called virtue. I want to bring more virtue into the world, so I can only do it through you. And through you, your actions will bring virtue to the world or not. And when we start with morsels of a thought, we start with thoughts of wisdom, which are definitely different than knowledge. Wisdom is knowing the right thing to do, where you are choosing what your path will be. There are many, 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 many paths for you to choose. And in this era, we are studying millennial samurai because we are just in the first 25th, first quarter of our millennium, the 21st century. And Millennial Samurai in George J. Chanos's book one is a mindset for the 21st century. So he says, set clear intentions. And he quotes Soren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher that we focused on last Wednesday. Our life, Soren Kierkegaard says, our life always expresses the result of our dominant thoughts. Our dominant thoughts. As ye think, so shall ye be. Where does that come from? Okay, so Dr. Chanos says, you are responsible for the energy you bring into every moment, every interaction, every conversation, and into every room you enter. Intention is an important part of mindset. When you set a clear intention, you will be more likely to act in ways, respond to situations, create opportunities, and make choices that support your intention. When you set a clear intention, you will be more likely to act in ways, respond to situations, create opportunities, and make choices that support your intention. I will give you an example from my own life. I was once aware at UC Berkeley, I saw many homeless people on the sidewalk. And as a student, I was unaware of everything, anything. I was 18. And I said, I want to help the homeless people while I do whatever other things I do. One day I was, I must have been 35 years old, and I'm in a restaurant with my then current boyfriend and a friend of his who had come in from out of town and worked for a magazine. And this friend was talking all about her trip, and we were focused entirely on her. We talked only about her. Nobody knew about me or my ex or anything else, no weather. It was all about her. And we were sitting at a Vietnamese restaurant, in a Vietnamese restaurant having dinner. And one time I turned and looked, and there was a man standing next to our table, a big set man with a cane, and he looked like he was about to hit somebody with the cane, except that he was pretending to hold back. Not pretending, but he was pretending to be calm. He wasn't calm, and he was like this. Like this, and his eyes were closing like he was trying to say, no, 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 please don't do this. No, 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 please don't do this. And I thought to myself, he's going to hit somebody if nobody gives him something to eat. So I asked him to sit at our table. Boy, did that get a loud frown from that friend. I'll say that. And this person turned out that he was a Vietnam vet. And I thought, oh, maybe that's why he's in a Vietnamese restaurant. And he said that his conscience was bothering him because he had killed many people. And that was one of the reasons it looked like he was homeless. And so we talked, and I asked him, do you eat meat? And he said, and as if I could choose not, as if I could choose to be vegetarian. I said, okay. So we gave him some soup. And meanwhile, I think some of you have heard this story before. Um, Somebody called the police, but I made this man finish his soup quickly. I said, let's go. We were already done almost with our dinner, so we finished as quickly as we could. And my friend's friend was certainly not pleased. But we got up, and as we were walking out, the homeless man asked me, do you believe in Jesus? And I said, let's get out of here. And so we walked out while the police were standing at the front door watching us. And I had sent my ex boyfriend, I said, go tell the police that we're okay here. And so he had, so that the gentleman could finish his soup. That was all. Anyway, so when you set a clear intention, you will be more likely to act in ways, respond to situations, create opportunities, and make choices that support your intentions. My choice at that time was an impulse to do something that was completely out of character to my usual behavior. And it turned out that this man, there was no incident in the restaurant. He stayed in control. He looked like he. Anyway, Dr. Chanos says essentially, you will be more likely to have the experience that you consciously determine is important to you. Intention is at the spiritual core of Indian religious and philosophical teachings. The classic Vedic text known as the Upanishads states, you are what your deepest desire is. Your deepest desire. As your desire is, so is your intention. As your intention is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. When your intentions are based on your highest values, your life becomes more purposeful because you understand what's important to you. Your intentions are not only important for your broader goals in life, they're an important part of your day to day existence. They determine your direction in all things and ultimately the results you achieve. What is your intention when you wake up in the morning, when you go to work, when you greet a customer, or when you play with your children? How might your life change if you woke up every morning with the intention of having an incredibly productive, happy, and healthy day? What would happen if your intention was to go to work with a positive, energetic, grateful, purposeful, and enthusiastic attitude? How might having the intention to greet every customer with a smile, a cheerful attitude, and a sincere desire to serve and impact customer relations? How might playing with your children with the intention of creating loving, mindful, and memorable experiences change their lives and yours? What are your goals? What results do you hope to achieve? Do you begin these engagements with intention, or do you just go with the flow or operate on autopilot? I can say that autopilot is the downfall of many people because autopilot makes us do so many horrible things. Not necessarily horrible, but horrible. Anyway, your intention upon entering into any engagement will profoundly impact the nature and the consequences of that engagement. I wasn't in an incident. I gave a man a bowl of soup. Setting clear intentions is a key to obtaining your personal and professional goals. We are reading George J. Chanos. He is the former Nevada Attorney General, and he wrote this book, Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century. As you can see, the arm over here is in AI. The arm is in AI. Millennial samurai have to know everything. Okay. The next part I want to read is intuition. No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. What in the world? Intuition. Psychologists define intuition as immediate understanding, knowledge, or awareness derived neither from perception nor from reasoning. I'll read that again. Psychologists define intuition as immediate understanding, knowledge, or awareness derived neither from perception nor from reasoning. Intuition is essentially the brain processing information without your conscious awareness. It is unconscious thinking. Brainstorming is a powerful technique to discover solutions. Brainstorming encourages all suggestions, including those based on nothing but intuition, for good reason. Try the brainstorming rules from www.ideo.org to achieve maximum results. Some of the most remarkable discoveries, like penicillin and Teflon, have been based on little more than informed intuition. However, not all intuition is equal. Bruce Kazanoff, co-founder of Park City think tank, says, "You might say that I'm a believer in the power of disciplined intuition. Do your legwork, use your brain, share logical arguments, and I'll trust and respect your intuitive powers. But if you merely sit in your hammock and ask me to trust your intuition, I'll quickly be out the door without saying goodbye." Kazanoff believes that for all those who have been rigorous in using their conscious brain, intuition can sometimes provide the highest form of intelligence. He says, sometimes a corporate mandate or groupthink, or your desire to produce a certain outcome, can cause your rational mind to go in the wrong direction. At times like these, it is intuition that holds the power to save you. Intuition can be cultivated and encouraged by setting aside time to reflect, taking walks, spending time in nature, clearing your head, and practicing mindfulness and meditation. Engaging in creative activities also quiets the cognitive mind and allows your intuition to flourish. Your intuition is a powerful tool, especially when it is informed by due diligence and consistent with your core values. Millennial samurai understand the power of informed intuition. Optimism. The pessimist sees difficulty in opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in difficulty. That's by Winston Churchill, former British Prime Minister. Optimism is a critical concept. It's infectious and has a magnetic quality of attraction, drawing people to you. It permeates every aspect of your life and touches the lives of all those around you. Optimism is an incredibly powerful force. Researchers have found that when they induce a positive mood by whatever means, people are more likely to interact with and help others. Those who feel good about themselves are more cooperative in bargaining situations and are more likely to find constructive solutions to their conflicts and challenges. They are better problem solvers, more motivated to succeed, and more likely to persevere in the face of obstacles. As you confront life's challenges, whether it's losing a job or a loved one dealing with poor health, spending years in school to obtain a degree, starting a new business, getting a divorce, going bankrupt, starting a new job, writing a blog, or climbing a mountain, optimism is the life preserver that keeps you afloat. Millennial samurai are optimistic. Hope. Aristotle Onassis, Greek shipping tycoon, he was the later husband of Jackie O. It is in our darkest moments that we must focus on the light. Similar to saying, if you are in a dark moment, this is when you should stand up. That's the Chinese version of the same thought. Hope is what inspires us to overcome our challenges and change our condition, says George J. Chanos. It's what comforts us in times of distress. It's the light at the end of the tunnel that guides and sustains us. Hope is directly related to our sense of possibility. By visualizing what you want and imagining positive outcomes, you unconsciously structure your behavior to create those outcomes. If your present circumstances are difficult or unpleasant, the thought of a positive future can lessen your stress. It can reduce the impact of negative events or disappointments. Hope brings perspective. It allows you to view your circumstances by thinking beyond what's currently happening. Instead of focusing exclusively on the negative things happening in your life, see the world how it could be. Surround yourself with positive people who encourage you to become the person you want to be, and distance yourself from negativity. Volunteer with local organizations where people are taking care of one another. Focus on how other people are caring for each other and improving the lives of those around them. Doing this will restore your faith in human nature and help you realize that everyone has challenges. It's not just you. Meditation, physical exercise, breathing exercises, travel, recreation, and spending time in nature can all reduce stress and inspire hope. Millennial samurai always have hope and inspire hope in others. We are reading George J. Chanos' Millennial Samurai, Book 1, A Mindset for the 21st Century. This is Morsels of a Thought number 1646. I aim to bring you morsels of a thought of wisdom. The knowing of the right thing to do for yourself is wisdom. The doing of it is virtue. And as George J. Chanos and many others wisely say, there is no virtue without action. Virtue is the action of the right things to do. And as a matter of fact, I had a friend point out to me that Buddhism also says right action. I can tell you traditional Chinese proverbs also say um, right action. Okay, Nelson Mandela. This is on passion. Nelson Mandela, revolutionary and president of South Africa, says, there is no passion in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. That's passion. The movie Serendipity contains the following lines. The Greeks didn't write obituaries. They only asked one question after a man died. Did he have passion? This ancient Greek philosophy, which regarded passion as critical to a well-lived life, is attributed to Aristippus of Cyrene, circa 435 to 356 BC. Thousands of years later, passion is still considered a foundational principle that guides people's lives. Passion doesn't simply create excitement, it also fuels endurance. Steve Jobs, co founder of Apple Inc., said, you have to be burning with an idea or a problem or a wrong that you want to right. If you're not passionate enough from the start, you'll never stick it out. We don't always have passion before we act. Sometimes our engagement, planning decisions, or experiences ignite our passion. French philosopher Jean Paul Sartre said, we must act out passion before we can feel it. Success also fuels passion. If you have 100 followers on social media, you might not be very passionate about it. Or on the other hand, if you had 100,000 followers, that might make you more passionate about growing your followers to 1 million. If you're working at a fast food restaurant, you might see it as a job with no future. But if you knew that mastering the business of managing a franchise could result in a future opportunity to own one, you would approach it with a different intention, which would yield an entirely different result. What is passion and how do you find yours? There are different ways of looking at passion. And here's a big section. It says, passion is something that motivates your action and commitment. Ideally, it is something you love and enjoy. Some people are motivated by money. They want the things that money can buy. They may want to use the money they make to pursue their passions for art, travel, or philanthropy. That's fine if that's what motivates you. Other people may not care about money. They may choose instead to pursue their passion for art, even by being a quote, starving artist, end quote, if necessary. These are individual life choices, and there are no right or wrong answers. What's right is what's right for you. The key is that passion must motivate your action and commitment. Don't expect your passion to identify itself in an epiphany moment. It is more likely to come to you over time through a series of discoveries resulting from varied experiences. To find your passion, broaden your experience as much as possible. Over time, you will come to identify your true passion. Our lives are cluttered with emotional baggage, busy schedules, obligations, and physical possessions. These obligations and distractions can overwhelm or paralyze us and prevent us from having clarity, energy, time, and focus. They can inhibit us from creating a passionate life. Feelings of desperation, sorry, Feelings of depression, anxiety, anger, or fear can sabotage any effort to find or follow your passion. You can address these issues by blocking out a small amount of time every day or week and using that time to explore your potential passions. Use exercise, meditation, walking in nature, spending time with supportive friends, and practicing positive affirmations to rid yourself of emotional baggage. We each have a passion that awaits us, and we each have only one life. Find your passion, and you will make the most of your one and only life. And whatever you choose to do it with passion. Millennial samurai lead passionate lives. So we went through this next part. I want to just check and make sure that I've got the right sections down because we have had, yeah, we this, and believe in yourself. Whatever you think you can or think you can't, you're right. That's by Henry Ford, founder of Ford Motor Company. So we'll go back into believing in yourself next week, and I shall see you later. I hope you buy this book because, as you can see, it's got many ways to help alter your brain in a positive way, in many positive ways, actually. So let's put this here, and I'll talk to you again later. Okay, old Kinderhook.